Morning to each and every one of you guys. It is your girl, the Motor. I am the Forex mom, back with a great another video, you guys. I'm excited. If I seem a little bit my affect is down, it's because I've been up all night. I've been up looking at some trades. I've been up trading. Definitely had some news coming out this morning, but yeah. This is not about this video, you guys. This is me not talking about Forex today. We are not talking about anything with trades, taking trades, all that good stuff. We are simply getting on here, and I am giving you guys some great motivation today. And we're gonna just talk about some real stuff. So, um, you guys make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all those great things. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I want to go ahead and just jump right into it. Don't even want to waste any time talking about myself, talking about just motivation, how we can go to 2023 and not just your typical how everybody talks about. All these people have all these great things to talk about how we can enter in 2023. But man, you know what? I'm speaking from the heart today. Some things are just lying on my heart, and I just wanted to get on here and guess what? Give you guys some motivation. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into this new video. But before you do that, make sure you do what? Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you let me know how I'm doing and all those great things. All right, let's go. Definitely wanted to get on here and talk about, I think a lot of people when they come to these videos and they have these videos with Forex, you see all these people trading on YouTube, and it is so overwhelming to see so many different people trading, talking, all the great things, right? So if you know my story, you know that I am a wife and I am a mother. But before I was a Forex trader, I was a single mom and I had only one child at the time. But now I have three beautiful girls. And my husband has been an amazing support system with our journey, with my journey, just everything. And shout out to him, man. Like he's the reason why I even trade Forex. Like, let's just go ahead and let's give him a round of applause for that. Because if it wasn't for him, I would definitely wouldn't be in the position that I am in now. He has elevated me, and I'm just going to give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him, and all the love goes out to my lovely, lovely, handsome husband. But let's go ahead. So yeah, I think a lot of times we get on here and we see a lot of people that are doing these Forex videos. And I know that with me, it has definitely been a journey. And a lot of the times, the frustrating part of my journey is that I know what I'm doing and I know how to trade, right? But I get into these moments where I will make mistakes and I will lose money. And I start to second question or second guess myself. I start to figure out like what is going on? Like, why can't I do what I need to do? Like, why I can't get past this number? Because a lot of times I know a lot of traders, they'll do really, really good and they'll get to a certain number and they get to that certain number, that certain price, or that certain money in their account, and they can't get over that hump. Like, I don't care if it's 300, 400, 500. When you get to that point, it's like, okay, I can't get past this particular number. But, I know that sometimes what helps me is that I try to make sure that I don't stick in that rut for too long. And so I know that we are going into 2023 and there are so many people on YouTube trading Forex. There's so many people giving you all the motivation. There's so many people doing all these great things, talking about what you can do to change your mindset, all of that. I definitely think that is the only way to get out of where you are is to change the way that you think. I agree wholeheartedly with that because if you do not change the way you think, you are going to stay in that particular position and you're not going to get out. A lot of times we want different results, but we are not willing to do the same thing because we are still attached to the old person that we were. So I know in 2023, I know that I don't do vision boards, right? I don't do vision boards. I think they're cool if you choose to do them. I just don't do them. I stopped doing vision boards about 4 years ago. And only because I was going to these vision parties and I was writing down this vision board and I would put it up on a wall. And I think it served its purpose, but I didn't really start to manifest the things that I really wanted until about 2019. And I started to really understand what manifestation meant, how to actually speak things into existence, how to really feel and want to and visualize those things. And I think back in 2019, I had a vision board, and on that vision board, everything that came to light was in 2021. Everything came to light on that board in 2021. So the vision that I had, I saw it in 2019, but it didn't come to the point where I was like, okay, until 2021. And I know a lot of times when people are trading Forex, the frustration comes in because they're not getting the results that they need or they want immediately. Some feed off of immediately results because I need the money right now because I got to pay bills. I got to do this. Then some say, hey, I want to invest. I want to continue to move forward and I want to just do this longevity. Whatever that might be, you have to figure out, okay, what are you going to do in this particular time? How are you going to get yourself to the next level? And a lot of times, even the beginner traders, we have to figure out what is going to be best for me. What type of trader am I? Am I a day trader? Do I swing? Can I trade during this session? Do I trade that session? So you have to figure out what type of trader you are. And you have to allow yourself to be frustrated in those moments. But I always say when you get to that point where you get frustrated, you don't allow yourself to stay in that moment. And that is going to have a lot of growth coming with your mindset and how you change the way that you think about every single thing. So when I would take trades years ago, I don't take trades, I definitely would. My magic number was 300. I just remember I could not get over the 300 mark. Like I did it one time, and I remember I took like $50 to like $1,100, $1,200 in like a week and a half when I first started this journey. And after that, I was growing my account. So I grew it. I was able to withdraw that money. And after I withdrew that money, then I said, okay, well, I took $50 to 1,000. I need to pay my rent. And so I remember taking about $900 out. So it left me with like $100 in my account. So at that point, I was like, okay, my mentor said all I need is $100, and that's what I'm going to do. And so I grew it to about $300, and I went past it a little bit, but then of course I got greedy, and I got greed, and all these things came about. But I was having a hard time. Really, honestly, I would lose the money and then I would put more money. Then I would lose the money, I would put more money. I would lose the money, put more money. And I literally could not get past $300. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why can't I get past this $300? It's not making any sense to me because I know how to trade. I know what I'm doing because I wouldn't be able to do that to get to 300. And so I realized that I was definitely being greedy, and a lot of the things that I was still doing, I wasn't changing the way that I was trading. Even though I knew how to trade, I've learned how to trade. I had a mentor that taught me how to trade. I was taking the trade seriously, but I literally was still thinking the same way. I had to change my whole entire process, right? And so I know that we are in a difficult time, and Forex has been something that has been really good to me. And alongside, I do have a therapeutic background, and I help people, and I try my best to coach people through certain situations, depending on what they may be. I try to give my own take, but sometimes with myself, I get in these ruts, and a lot of people say, well, how do you get yourself up out of that? And a lot of times I will cry. And I think, sometimes crying is good for the soul, but only crying when it's needed to be cried. Like I only cry when I need to cry. My husband says that sometimes I get a little bit emotional because I don't have enough faith. And that can be true because I feel like I'm human and I'm a human being, and I can't be positive 24/7. I'm not going to get on here and I'm going to talk about how, yes, I have all this great faith and this is whatever, but I do have faith. I do believe, and I do manifest these things, and I do want these things. But with money or no money, the main thing is I'm human. I'm a human being, and I mess up and I make mistakes just like everybody else. And I think it's important that we allow people to be human beings in this world that we have, whether it's Forex, whether it's whatever. We have to allow people to be who they are. We have to allow people to make mistakes, right? And so I make mistakes, even with trading. I still have losses, but I have more wins than losses. But there's times where I lose and I don't even know why I lost, right? There has been times where I have literally said to myself, what did I just do? I had this money. What happened? What did I just do? I have revenge traded. Definitely. I have chased the market. Definitely. But I've learned with my mindset to say, hey, hold on. Jewel, wait a minute. Hold on. Back up. Calm down. And talk myself out of these moments where I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling anxious. And it's the anxiety of not that something bad is happening to me in the current state. I'm thinking about what's going to happen to me, because that's what anxiety is. It's not even what's going on right now. It's not even a reality of what's going on. It's in my mind. I've created this reality in my head that, hey, something's going to happen to me 3 months later, or something's going to happen to me at the end of the week, or I can't pay this, or I can't do this. That is an anxious mind. And all that anxiety that plays a part when you are actually trying to trade and when you're trying to learn how to trade, because you want to get it. You don't understand what's going on. You're trying to learn a skill set and you're messing up. And you feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm investing this money and I'm not really learning it. I'm not really making any money. Or you could be the trader that's in the market, in a live account, and you're still making small mistakes. It's almost like, what am I doing that's wrong? And so I had to really, 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 really understand that the mistakes I were making were my fault. The mistakes I were making were simple mistakes, very dumb mistakes, very humanistic mistakes, I always say. And the correction would come after I was like, oh, I did this wrong. Point blank period. Gotcha. But then I would do it again. And so it's almost like you have to have a changed mind. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to be this person who is just so positive 24/7, because we all have our moments where we aren't like that. But I think that when you get in those moments, that you only allow yourself to stay in those moments for a few seconds. You only allow yourself to say, what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh. Cry it out, do whatever, but only for a few seconds, right? I have learned that I can't stay in these ruts forever. Number one, I have children. So everybody who's a mom or parent, they know no matter what's going on, you can't, you have to be strong. You have to, if you're sad about anything, hey, you know that you got some little ones that's got to look up to you. And so I can't stay in that moment for too long, because if I stay in that moment for too long, then my kids are going to stay in that moment. And my kids get in that moment. That shifts the energy throughout my day. That shifts the energy throughout my house. That tones everything in a negative standpoint. And I can't have my house being negative all day long, because my children don't even really understand what's going on. If I'm sad, if I'm crying, they don't need to know what's going on, right? All they need to know is, hey, I got to get up for school. I got to eat. I got to do whatever. Children need to be children. But I learned that I had to get myself out of that moment. And reading is essential. Reading is essential for everything. Whether you read the Bible, whether you read Badass Making Money, whether you read Positive Power, Positive Thinking, whether you read As a Man Thinketh, whether you read the Outwitting the Devil, with all those books that I just named are amazing mind changers. You have to read it and you have to learn how to accept it, right? And understand what you're reading. And I think sometimes when even if it's audio, you listen to it. I mean, I think audios are amazing, right? I think audiobooks are amazing because you're listening to it, right? It's going inside of your ear. It's your subconscious, all the great things that you talk about. But I think when you have to understand about that we are all human in this world. And with Forex, we gotta realize that this is something that's going to take you to a whole nother level. And I think with that moment, you got to realize, okay, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fail. I'm not gonna always have emotional regulation. I'm not always gonna be just positive Nancy. I'm always not gonna. Sometimes I want to be negative Nancy, right? I'm not always gonna be positive Patty, like they say. You know, I know I'm gonna have those moments where I'm not my best, but it's about how long do you stay in that to get yourself out of that, right? So I heard something earlier today that I was listening to. I think it was so powerful. And every morning I have this routine, and so I get up between 4 and 4:30. Depends on what's going on, maybe 5, depending on how tired I am the night before. But I get up and I'm grateful, and I thank God for giving me life, maybe able to open my eyes up. And I'm like, okay, am I really here or am I somewhere else? Like, let me know, right? um, and I read a few verses, a few chapters out of the Bible, just for me, because I read the stories, and the stories that I read are they relate to now. And so me and my husband, we have gotten to a point where we talk about these stories and we talk about what's going on. And we are actually watching The Chosen right now, which I think everybody should watch. I think, believers, non-believers, however you want to look at it. It's an amazing journey for me to watch it because I think, sometimes everybody has their own take about the Bible, and, people say, hey, I don't read it because it's been manipulated, it's something's been taken out, stuff been added. And I agree. I do believe that things have been removed and things have been taken out and put back in, and however you want to look at it. But the whole entirety of the Bible speaks about, faith and belief, and just believing in things, right? Or believing whatever that you believe in. You got faith and you got fear. So you can't see neither one of them. So a lot of times we won't have any faith, but we would definitely have fear of a lot of things. I'm afraid to do this. I don't want to do that. If I do that, I'm not going to have any money, or I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my job, or I'm afraid that I'm going to fear. But we would turn around and not have faith. And it's the same thing. It's just a different emotion, because we're taught fear as a child. Children that are very, very young, they don't understand being afraid. Parents and society and environmental has created in the way that children process things. And so now that's like, oh, when you see a child that sees a ghost, it's scary. But you don't really see that until they're really, really young. I mean, of course, people are scared because they see ghosts and scary masks and all this stuff. But, putting fear in children, we do that. We do that as parents. We do that as adults, because automatically a child will come to you and say, hey, mom, I want to do this. And as a parent, sometimes the parent, we do, oh, you couldn't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, that's too hard. Or you're going to fall and hurt yourself. Or you're going to break your arm. That's instilling fear in that child. So, I'm a blame person. I've done it to my children too. But I always have to understand is that, we got faith and you got fear. And neither one of those things you can see, but we gotta believe in one of them. And so what I typically do is, like, I read every morning, read a couple chapters, and then after I read, I pray over my family. And everybody's still asleep. Everybody's asleep, right? I think that's the most important time. I think mothers know we're the first ones to get up and we're the last ones to go to sleep, right? So I get up before everybody does anything. Before 6 a.m., before 5 a.m., I'm up. I'm making sure that I have this belief and I have this faith, so my children can go out in the world, and how my husband can go out and come back home, because that's also something that we definitely take for granted, is just return, right? So I read, I pray, and then I listen to something motivational, whether it's Jim Rohn, whether it's Denzel, whether it's Oprah, whether, whatever that it might be. I have a little playlist on YouTube that I typically listen. I put my headphones on and I listen to the motivation. And in that motivation, after I listen to it, I journal. And I've been writing things down that I would like to accomplish every day, whether it be making up my bed properly, whatever that it might be. I do this on a daily basis because I feel like that's why I really don't too much like vision boards, because the journaling for me, it allows me to create my own goals for myself, and it allows me to do that in meditation. It allows me to do that in prayer, right? And so I'm looking at my journal every day and I'm writing this down and I'm saying what I want. I'm manifesting these things. And I have seen a shift in myself. I've seen a shift in my family, and I've seen a shift just general. And this is what I've been doing prior to the new year, because I feel like, you shouldn't start resolutions or you shouldn't start goals at the new year. You should always start whenever you want to. And so I've realized that, being a Forex trader, being in this market, you get frustrated. But when you get frustrated, it's about how much you spend in that frustration. And those things I just named allows me not to be so frustrated in those moments. It only allows me a few seconds or maybe a couple of minutes to myself and say, hey, you know what? I'm pissed off. I'm mad that I did this, but I got this. Let me figure this out. Right? So a quote that I heard, that I listened to, it was very, very powerful. The quote was, you can either accept it, eliminate it, or just adjust to it. And so when I heard that, and I was like listening to it this morning, I was like, man, that's crazy. I said, let me replay that again. And it said, man, you know what? You can either accept it, eliminate it, or adjust to it. So I started to think like, when you are trading, it's almost like you have to either accept that you're going to fail, eliminate it and don't do it, or try not to, or try to make better decisions, or adjust yourself to it, right? So we all are going to fail at some point. We're all going to make mistakes. So the whole thing is, it's not saying that you're not any good if you do that, but you have to accept the fact that you're going to fail. You have to accept the fact that you're going to get frustrated. You have to accept the fact that negative things are going to come in your way. But you can accept it, but you also, man, you got to eliminate it. So you have to eliminate by not staying in it. You have to eliminate it by not letting the circumstances dictate to you how your outcome. You have to eliminate it by, you know what, man, I made a mistake. Let me go back and let me see what I did wrong. Because that's important for you to understand when you're in this market. It's like, look, how can I correct myself? What I need to do? How can I get myself up out of the situation? Because I made a humanistic mistake. I made a mistake. So I have to accept the fact that, hey, I'm accepting this. I either going to eliminate it. So I'm eliminated by, you know what? Let me check back and let me see what I did wrong. Let me go back and see how I can correct my mistake. Or let me see if I can go back and figure out what chart I need to look at or whatever that it might be. And I need to adjust myself to it, right? Adjust yourself that, guess what? It's okay that you fail. It's okay that you blew your account. It's okay that you lost some money in the market. It's okay that you're not okay, right? And I think we have to understand is that it's okay that we're not perfect and we're not always positive, but we can't sit ourselves in that. And so I can either accept it, eliminate it, or adjust myself to it. And if I decide to adjust myself to it, I can't worry about it. I can't keep dwelling on it. I can't keep bringing up the same thing, especially if I'm going to adjust to it. You know, um, we got to figure out a better way to accept things, to eliminate things, and to adjust to it. Um, always hear this the same thing. It's like the cliche quote, if you want different results, you got to find something different to do. You can't want different results and keep doing the same thing, right? So we hear that all the time. But like dealing with Forex and all the things that, comes with it, placing the trades, making sure that you check the news, fundamental news, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, all those things play a big part in actually placing the trades, going into the market, a lot of psychology. How can you control your emotions? How you don't get frustrated when you lose. I see somebody throw their phone. Like I seen somebody lose some money and threw their phone across the room. Insane, right? I don't know how much money they lost, but I'm sure it was a pretty big amount. But I just say all that to say is that those type of things happen. You're going to lose money. You have to learn how to accept that, right? We have to learn how to adjust to learning this new skill set and changing the way that we think, changing the way that we process things, changing the way that how we don't get anxious or have those anxiety anymore about this particular thing. We have to figure out how can we learn how to, when we do make those mistakes or we do get upset, we do feel frustrated, how that we can't stay in that. We only give ourselves enough grace to allow ourselves to get upset about it, but not stay in that, right? But yet, like it's a journey for myself, for everybody around me that's trading. A lot of people that get into Forex, they really feel like they're going to be rich in a matter of months. And I know some people that have actually made a lot of money in a few months, a matter of months, 6 months, 7 months. But the key is to be consistent with that. And I think a lot of times, people have different things going on in their lives, and the authenticity of what I show and what I do is that I have a lot of things going on. My husband has a lot of things going on. We have a family. We have outside things that are going on. And so we don't typically have what everybody else has, right? So you have some people who don't have children, who are living by themselves, who can have that type of time. So when you are a parent and you're trying to learn the skill, or you have things outside of just yourself, you have to figure out how to organize that and see what type of trader you are, see how you can better yourself in this market, because it can frustrate you. It can make you just get upset. It can make you want to quit, because I almost quit twice. But I'm glad that I stayed, because I am able to show others, and I'm able to show people like this is a for real deal. Like this is the real deal. And I think that everybody at some point or on some particular level should learn how to trade Forex, right? Whether you want to do it part-time, whether you want to do it just to supplemental income, whether you want to do the prop firm, whether you want to do the funded accounts, or whatever that you want to do, there should be some type of a level of skill when you're trading Forex. But yeah, it's just some motivation. It's just, some things for me, some things for everybody, like just to understand, like this is, you got some people on YouTube, and you got a lot of people on YouTube that they not for real. And you got some that are really, that get out here and they really want to help people. And so those are the people that you find. If you find those authentic people like myself, you follow them, you ask questions, and you figure out like how can they help, right? Because that's the main thing. How can this person help me? What can I do to, get myself to learn how to learn the skill and all those things like that. So, definitely just different video. Definitely didn't want to even do any markups because they had a lot of news today. And so definitely want to just come on here just so you guys can just hear my voice, see my face, and get some, some real life authenticity, some genuine speaking, some motivation from me. So yeah. Definitely I'm going to get back in the market though. I'm going to look at some things coming up. I know after the news it just hit, so I saw gold just going crazy nuts and everything. I don't even like to look at nothing when the market is going crazy like that. It's got a lot of news. I know there is some news later on. I definitely know we are NFP, so we are preparing for non-farm payroll. We're preparing for the market to correct itself. It is a lot going on this week. So definitely, I know next week and the rest of this year is going to be an amazing year. We're definitely going to get some money this year. Y'all already know how I do. It's not always how you start. It's about always how you finish. Make sure you just show up for yourself, and the rest is history. So, all right. It is the Moto Mother. It is your Forex mom, and I am out. You guys have an amazing day. Check you guys later.